What is going on, Benchwarmers? Welcome to Game Week 2 recap. We have a lot to go over, so before we get into everything, I am one of your hosts. My name is Eric.
Nico, Nick.
John, Gad,
and Diego Statro.
And behind the camera today,
Our crack producer.
Marco. That's it.
Guru. All right, so yes, a lot to go over. Actually, Raquel's calling me. Fuck.
Yeah, we do it all over again.
No, just run it.
No,
just run it. Just cut it and run it.
Just that.
All right,
Where do you see
Marconius.
that?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, they wanted to cut it so bad. And I was like, no, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
I keep on hearing like no.
All right, so
All right, let me move over there.
Marco, please move over here so you can blow out your candles. We're gonna put you. I'm actually gonna move over so you can sit here on the bench.
Yeah.
It's another, I'll say, Bench's birthday.
It's another bench birthday, yes.
So, where do we leave off?
We're doing housekeeping, but we'll just.
yeah. I mean, we were talking about how I kicked his ass in the draft league.
Oh,
so
okay.
Wow.
So,
that's a Wednesday topic.
Yeah.
you got plates right there.
You can use a little plate.
So, to another Bench's birthday. We are celebrating with him, so you guys will join us.
Tomorrow, by the way.
It's tomorrow, but
Yes, it's tomorrow, but we're
won't
here
see you.
together, so it's.
You know what? Take it back.
Yeah.
Ungrateful. You ungrateful little shit.
Bro. Encima que le conseguimos su cake, bro. That's crazy. Good job, guys, but it's tomorrow.
But it's tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, you do? Oh, you see? All right, well, either way, but before the candles run out, 3, 2, 1.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Marcutius.
Happy birthday to you. All right, make a wish. Close your eyes. Arsenal not going to win the league in the next 10 years, but you can wish it anyway. All right, but you got to close your eyes. It has to count.
Relegation. Nah, I'm actually kidding.
No, before. Should I do a troll one or a real one?
Whatever it is, just don't,
Throw one is
don't
karma,
tell
bro.
us.
Yeah, throw in his karma, bro. Don't do it.
All right, blow them out.
How you doing?
Hey, let's go, Marconius.
Thank you guys for the cake. I appreciate it.
So, yeah. All right, cool. That was awesome.
Healthy motherfucker, bro.
So while Marco continues to cut that cake, I
Yes.
think it's only fair to kind of, with this
It's good.
cake, add some lube to it so we can digest it nice and smoother. Some lubricant, right? So a nice little something to kind of get the conversations going. So I brought it up earlier before we started recording, and now I kind of do want to dive into a little bit more, and that is, has the stardom, the fame, the chosen one, Mbappe, has it gone to his head?
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
So for those of you who don't know, this past weekend they had a game where I believe it was
Vitinha.
Vitinha, sorry, I mispronounced that. He had a pass to Mbappe, and I think he went to right to Messi or Neymar. I don't know who was out there. Point is, he didn't get the pass. He threw legit the biggest, not the biggest, but the most disrespectful tantrum I've ever seen a footballer do on the pitch. Threw his hands in the air, stopped running, and literally was walking off the pitch, walking backwards. Never have I seen that. A few minutes later, not a few minutes, but a little bit later, after he missed the first pen, he's walking up to Neymar to try to take the pen off of him. And as he's doing that, he gives Messi a nice little check to let him know he's still there, he's still around.
Go by check.
Messi looked at him like, who the fuck
Little
or
shoulder
who the
check.
fuck is this guy?
Yeah, for real.
You know, and then he goes to Neymar, and he's like, yo, Neymar, look, I fucked up. Let me get this one again. I need to avenge myself. Neymar's like, look, you fucked up. You gotta take advantage of your opportunities, right? And did Neymar score? So has it gone to Mbappe's head?
Nego.
Look. People deny him here. People hated him here, but at the end of the day, look, Mbappe. So what's up?
Oh, dang.
Oh, it absolutely went to his head.
I think
absolutely.
the ownership, the part ownership, Mbappe GM is not working out right now.
Man wants his cake and he wants to eat it too. Like you can't have it both ways. Like no, you can't do that shit. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're a professional. You're playing with the team. Act like you're a team player. Don't just
It's crazy because if he would have made that run, he would we would have
He
been.
would have
there
been
for
in
his
so
very
much
first match.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was Neymar who put it across goal,
Right.
and Mbappe would have been right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
It's weird, man.
it's a shame, really, because I think Mbappe has a world at his feet. Like he has a chance to become
He knows that.
like a top 10 player of all time, literally. Like,
Exactly.
Just based
He
on his
and
talent
he knows
alone.
that. That's the problem.
But I think. Do you guys think before this whole like Le GM type thing, Mbappe GM? So like I guess like you said, like has a start gotten into his head? I feel like my answer would be probably, I guess yes. Mbappe was never was he ever like this even before? Like, because he always had a great relationship with Neymar.
That's
Even
the
when
thing.
like
Exactly.
That's
in
the
18,
thing.
19,
That's how it
19,
started.
You always saw
That's
like
how
Neymar
it started.
and
Power changes people.
you always saw Neymar and Mbappe like dancing
Yeah,
with each other.
yeah.
Power
afterwards.
does change people, guy. You're right. Power does change people.
Pick better players.
It's crazy.
Wow.
That's a Wednesday.
crazy,
That's a
Dale.
Wednesday topic.
I was thinking about like because if Mbappe if he never stayed at PSG and was given literally the key to the city, if he would have got to Real Madrid, he would not be doing that.
Oh hell no.
He would.
Hell
The
no.
fans would get on him.
If I think the worst part is, and I'm gonna cut in, being in League One, it makes the league look bad because this guy can literally just walk off,
Fuck
not
off.
even be interested in the play, and it doesn't affect the game whatsoever. Like, come on, I don't.
The on-field action of him like throwing his hands up, throwing a tantrum, is completely like terrible. But the part where he wants to get rid of Neymar,
Is that for real?
apparently he wants to get rid of Neymar.
You can see.
The-
You can see.
I mean,
this.
this is
Yeah,
like
something came out. Apparently, he had told someone that to sell Neymar.
that's a decision where I wouldn't mind.
But that's not his to make though.
I mean, didn't
But
they give
no,
him the
but-
power to do it?
Yeah,
No.
they gave him the power.
No,
to
no,
Supposedly,
no,
yeah.
no.
Or at least the
I'm,
request,
I
sorry.
misspoke. I misspoke. That is, technically speaking, his choice to make. I guess you're right, but that shouldn't be his choice to make. They gave him too much power to a kid that's maybe 2-3 years older than you are.
I think it kind of like it spilled over. Once you miss the first penalty and then you go grovel that you want the second one, and then you're gonna take it off from probably one of the better players in world football, and you expect him to, like, that's the thing. Like, this guy, he didn't go over to be like, hey, like, just think, like, consider it. Let me get. Nah, he was like, nah, let me get it back, and he really thought that this guy was gonna bend to what he wanted, and I think it clearly shows that it's too much power to someone who doesn't know how to handle it.
But to be fair though, shit, not like that. The recruitment that PSG have completed this transfer window is actually really good. Like they're actually picking up players who are young, like Vitinha, Nazo Sanch. They're looking at players like Milan Skriniar and others. So I think if you compare like past years where they pick up like players who are completely over the past their prime, overspent on them, put wages at ridiculous high level. Like I feel like, to be fair though, they're actually like pretty like doing.
But that's
some
not
good things
Mbappe's
this
doing though.
It's not Mbappe.
I think he is.
No, whoa, with
Like,
him recruiting
him-
Vitinha, and
I think
no.
the
No,
players
it's not
they
him. But
signed
it's
is
him wanting
should
to get
be-
Luis Campos and Christopher Galtier in the manager.
I think it should
For
be
me, in my
separate.
opinion.
I think it should be
should
separate.
be
Like the
separate.
recruitment of players has no. It should have no effect on.
But it's
the
going well
ego.
though.
Oh, sure, it is going well. It can go well, and he can still act like a crybaby on the pitch.
It's going well in Ligue 1 where they won it for how many years? I mean, it's again, it's a joke because it's really only improved nothing until we see in the Champions League. If they can carry this in the Champions League and actually do something with it, then yeah, it has improved. But right now, it's just in Ligue 1 where they win every game, regardless. It's for Mbappe to have this kind of power, to have this, to be able to literally fuck off the team in the middle of a game like that. Ah, man, we talk about Neymar here being toxic.
Yeah.
That's toxic.
Can I have a tinfoil hat moment?
Oh, 10 for high
Oh,
time. I love
yes.
it. I love it. I love it.
Conspiracies.
What if he's playing mind games? What if he's showing what's the reason for them not to give players this type of power?
So you're saying he's like the
He's
being the ultimate bad
playing-
guy for the ultimate good.
Exactly. That's why I said tinfoil hat time. What if he's
That's a real
doing these
tinfoil
type
hat,
of
for real.
things because he wanted to, okay, you wanted me here this badly? This is what would happen if you offered the world and more to a player.
That's
Because I could be in Real Madrid right now, be the number one player there, not have competition. But no, you wanted the best players in the world here. Well, there's consequences to that. Toxicity. It might not be Neymar. That's why I'm asking him to leave. but maybe it might come from me. I'm gonna be the toxic one. I'm gonna start
Wow,
creating
that'd be wild.
chaos.
That'd be wild.
Let's see what happens. Let's
Sure,
push
he's already doing
buttons.
it.
Let's see what happens. Maybe that's what he's doing. I mean, again, tinfoil hat time.
I mean, he could be testing
Conspiracy,
his limits.
but
He could be drawing, seeing where they draw the line on him.
yeah,
But wasn't it the French president that supposedly called him? And like,
exactly.
hey, like,
They're the
stay
ones
with
that
us?
wanted it. What happens if
So
he
you
really,
think he ultimately wanted to leave, and this is his little
yes,
payback?
this is the way that he's. I mean, it's a possibility
That is
amongst
tinfoil hat
many.
time. I
That
mean,
is okay. You wanted me here. I
Petty
accept
us,
it, but
petty
in
as
reality,
fuck.
I really didn't want to be here. I prefer to be somewhere else. But you wanted me here. You called me to ask me to stay here. Now
that's the thing, though. If
here
we're
it
making
is.
the argument that he's petty enough to do these antics
I mean, it'd be funny as fuck.
on the pitch, it's not too far. It's not too far of a stone's throw for him to be like, you know what? I'm gonna make your life terrible now.
Yeah, that's a tinfoil hat. It's a space blanket and everything.
It's the whole package.
Whole package.
I like it,
yo.
but it'd be
That's
extremely
QY
unlikely.
ecstasy.
Man, living off the radar somewhere in the woods. right now,
Mbappe's
bro.
like 23, 24 with the potential to be like a top 10 player of all time, but
Yeah, and he has
with the,
time,
but I think it'd be unlikely for him to do that.
Mm.
to
If
just
he
throw away
continues
3
right
years.
now,
Why not? Fuck
if
it,
he
put it up
continues
there.
this trajectory the way he's acting right now, then players aren't gonna want to play with him.
No one's gonna want him.
Nobody's gonna want to coach him. You can't coach that. That's literally uncoachable. That you can't coach that.
That is true. Players won't want to play with him.
It's. But
He only has to do it for 6 months. Because the rest of the season, he'll be like, all right, you know what? Let me cool down a little bit.
it's crazy because he's still gonna go on a route, probably just destroy
He'll
it.
still win the league.
Yeah, but whatever. So yeah, let us
PG
know.
for champs.
Let us know. Has Mbappe has it gone to his head? What are your thoughts on the way he reacted? And
Do you agree with Marco?
do you agree with Marco's? I don't even know. Earth is flat theory right now. For real. But yeah, let's move on. Let's get into kickoff, man. Y'all ready for kickoff?
Let's
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
get it, baby.
All right. So a lot of action this week. I didn't know how to start it, so I'm just gonna go in the way that the games happen, just to kind of keep it simple. So first game that kicked off were Stevie G's versus Frank Lampard's men. Stevie G proves to be the better player and the better coach.
Not by
Or
much though.
that's where I was gonna throw a little wrench into the gears. Do you think that, or because Stevie G's record isn't that convincing?
No, but where Gerrard does trump Frank Lampard is probably on the pitch tactics. But like I just said, not by far though. But like I said last episode, Frank Lampard has a decent track record, but they're both pretty terrible managers. So
They both suck. Okay, that's fair.
The one thing I enjoyed about this game is just the fact that I think it was. I'm probably gonna mess up the wording, but I think it was last season. Dina scores for Aston Villa while playing for Everton, and then this season he scores for Everton while playing for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing I loved about this game.
I was
That's a good story.
I was watching the game and I found it very interesting to see why he still picks Phil Coutinho. It's probably because like the whole relationship he's had with him in the past. But
And he dropped. Was that an injury or was that just fatigue?
I
Or
didn't just think tactical. He brought on
No.
Emi Buendia, and actually when
He
Emi Buendia
changed.
came on, he actually provided. He
Mm.
came in deep to actually help with build up. He actually looked proactive on the ball instead of Phil Coutinho. So Emi Buendia is probably the player who should be starting ahead of Phil Coutinho right now because ever since Coutinho scored like that, where he scored against like that goal and then the assist, Jacob Ramsey against United in January when he came in, he's been kind of on and off. Emi Buendia as well, but just from this game, this point of view, Emi Buendia just looked a lot more lively than Coutinho did.
Well, that's what you want, sometimes having that kind of player in front of you and like, oh damn, he's ahead of me and he's a hit or a miss. I have to hit and I have to hit consistently. So maybe again, competition for positions this could have sparked Buendia's comeback into the starting lineup. One player that stood out for me, even though it was a brief introduction and the goal that was his fault, was Nana. What's my name? You have to say it at the end. You cannot not say it. But he came in, caused a turnover that led to the goal. It looked
then he
pretty
turned it
convincing.
on. Then he turned it on.
Yeah, man. Big, strong guy, progressive with the ball. So he's a pretty interesting pickup for Everton. Any other takeaway from this game?
West Ham was actually supposed to get him, but he turned them down surprisingly for Everton.
Ooh.
I don't understand why.
That's a big mistake. But we move on. We move on to the next game, which is Leeds giving up a lead. 2-2. Southampton. Disappointing for the American and the Leeds men. But overall, great game, Marco. I know this is your soft spot team right here.
Now I'm pissed at them, bro. I mean, I always put them more on Saturday than on Sunday because Spurs let me down. Even though I should never put all my eggs on Spurs, but we'll talk about it later. Liverpool let me down again. Same thing. But Leeds, bro, I was surprised that with the 2-goal up, they allowed a tie, and not only was that crucial, but also affected my pocket off of my parlay.
How many games did you finally get off?
I lost 3.
You lost 3 games
because of Spurs and because of Liverpool.
Yeah.
But everything else I had right. Well, in the Leeds one, everything else was clear, even the ties.
Oh wow,
it's crazy.
And it was a big parlay too.
Well, I do a 10-game parlay every weekend for $1. So
we don't encourage anybody to bet.
Yeah, yes.
1-800-GAME-BUT, please. If
30
you or
what,
anyone you
30
know
what,
have
30
a problem.
If I hit a 10-game parlay, $6,000-$7,000,
if not more.
Yeah. It's hard to hit all 10.
It's hard to hit all 10.
But
Exactly.
back to this game, I think it's something to expect from Leeds. I mean, it's not really that surprising because I think, was it last season or the season before, they had their goal differential was 0. They're conceding just as much as they're scoring. So this doesn't.
And do you have
this
Meslier
doesn't
in goal
surprise
for your fantasy?
me. I do. He actually gets
Better
a lot of
players,
save
bro.
points.
Take advice.
I'm
No,
telling you,
a
this
lot of
guy
save points.
contradicts himself. He's a stat whore for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah, he should just pick
With Southampton though, one
pick better
takeaway.
players, guys.
One player to watch out for is Romeo Lavia. He came from Man City's academy. Who Man City have been producing a lot of good talents lately, from their academy in the past recent years. So, if you ever watch Southampton, the next couple games, just watch out for that player. He's actually the little cameo he had against Tottenham last week was really promising. So just watch out for Romeo Lavia. Nice little player.
Next, we move on to Man City running route on Bournemouth, and Haaland owners are probably furious because they triple captained him this week. I'd assume 4-0. Haaland gets an assist, but no goals. Anything from this game, guys?
One takeaway is that Phil Foden should just keep playing on the left. Like this whole thing where Pep Guardiola has him playing false 9 on the right as an 8 as a left. Like that's what 5 positions already, 5 roles.
Right.
I think the past recent years, I think Pep Guardiola is one of the main reasons why not one of the main, but like he's a reason why you've seen kind of, especially last season, why Phil Foden was kind of like he was a tad bit off. It's kind of understandable. Like the guys being played in different roles, different positions across the pitch, so he should just stay there for the rest of the season, just out on the left ahead of Jack Grealish, and just let him build that continuity out on the left, because he doesn't have the cut and trade that he has on the right. Whenever he played false 9, he's a different player. Like he does his work on the ball. And when you play a false 9, the work you do is off the ball in terms of creating space, manipulating space. Even as 8, he's only played a couple games there, so just keep him on the left. So yeah.
All right, so Foden, stay on the team, pick him up. It sounds like, Nick.
Yeah, I have him on my fantasy just because I just like Foden.
And then we move on to what made my weekend a lot more enjoyable, as I'm sure Marcos as well, as we watch this game together. And this guy, look, man, I'm not one to be religious or anything, but I'm starting to believe in Jesus. All right, starting to believe. It's coming. It's coming back. It's coming home. Jesus on almost a perfect home debut, 2 goals and 2 assists. He really showed what Arsenal were missing. And I said this last episode, but it just emphasizes how much of a mobile striker we need, and how important the fluidity of the team. So you see Gabriel dropping back to collect the ball, and then he's out on the left wing, and then he's back up top. Same thing with Martinelli. You see him drop back in the ball. It drifts out left, and it goes. It's a lot of fluidity in this team, which is something I'm really liking. And Jesus, I mean, that goal he scored, the first one he scored.
Do you remember Alexis Sanchez goal?
Yes, that's exactly.
League?
Yes,
That's
man.
the exact same goal.
And I was telling these guys, there was like Zinchenko, they were doing like little dink passes over players. I haven't seen that in a very long time. Like I haven't seen that creative Arsenal, like the 1-2 tiki taka. Like I haven't seen that in such a long time. It was actually entertaining to watch. As just the triangles that he built and all the interplay in the attacking third. It's so nice. Finally feel confident, but got back to reality when Saliba scored that beautiful own goal. I will say it was a beautiful own goal. Marco, I don't know, and I'm sure you guys saw it too, but I kind of blame Ramsdale on that one.
You think that's Ramsdale's fault, Marco?
Not his fault completely. Big miscommunication on both their parts. But Ramsdale was so far up, dude.
You think that's Ramsdale's fault, Marco?
It's not his fault, but I think if he was at least a foot or two behind, a little further back, he would have been able to stop it.
He was so close.
Yeah, but he was very, very like and that's the problem that we kept on seeing throughout the game
With
this past week.
Ramsdale.
He walks away from his goal a lot. He spends a lot of time like closer to the 18 line.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I mean, it's like the Tavares problem that I at least always point out is that Tavares has that mentality of going up, and forgets sometimes to drop back. And I feel like Ramsdale sometimes does that. He just walks away a little bit too much. Thankfully, nobody has actually caught him off guard. But in the first goal, he
did.
Well, yeah. If in the first goal, the Gavi goal, if he would have set, like I said, a step further back, 1 or 2, he would have been able to stop it. And the same thing goes for when Madison scored. I think if he was clean, if he was a little bit more to maybe a step back and a little bit more to the pole, or his goal, he would have been able to stop that ball.
So let's say percentage-wise on the Saliba own goal. What's your percentage for Saliba's fault? What's your percentage?
70-30?
70-30 to who?
Oh, Gabriel. I mean, he would have.
We think Gabriel, you mean Saliba, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody calls him Gabriel.
Sorry. That's right.
Okay.
Saliba.
70 Saliba, 30 Ramsdale.
Imagine he calls Gabriel Magalhaes, and he calls Saliba
Yeah, I can't call anybody Gabriel. It's gonna have to be for last names or
like everyone else. Okay.
Especially after what happened with the draft. I'm surprised you're still using Gabby, bro.
Gabby.
Yeah,
why
'cause he
not?
said, I'm picking up Gabriel, and he thought it was Jesus, but it was. Remember?
I mean, look, I'm not gonna kick him out yet. I'll keep him with me. Maybe he's my lucky charm.
Maybe.
But speaking of Ramsdale, that's one thing about him that he's definitely our number one. There's no doubt about that. And I don't see anybody really coming in for him taking him out. But he does get me nervous, and he overcommits a lot. That Vardy one, granted it wasn't a penalty, it could have been a penalty. Like it just 1 second extra or 1 second too late.
It was just in time, where he realized, oh shit, and
the way it powers too, right?
In the way of Palace too, yeah, he gets caught off a lot, and that's one thing that is break that I saw in him. He his positioning from the goal, he can improve. So with him, gets me a little nervous, but at the end of the day, he did his job. He did pretty well. That second goal went through his legs. That pissed me off, but whatever. Point is, Arsenal 4, Leicester 2. Martinelli showing to start to show those developmental steps, right? Getting those pretty big goals.
Well, ever since he put that hand tape, looked like Benzema, bro.
Yo, that's what I was thinking too,
So
man.
hard.
Prime Suarez too, you feel me on that?
hard.
But Nick, I have to have some beef with you right now.
Oh my! Here we
There
go.
was a video that came out before the season started, and it's something along the lines of if we're expecting Jesus to come in and score goals,
Still stand by that.
don't expect that. I mean, his XG is better than Haaland and Darwin's.
I still stand by that.
Best of the top striking force in the Premier League. How can you tell me that?
I still stand by that. And it's still an incredible signing because he's 100 times better than Lacazette. But I still stand by that, though.
Well, he's proving you wrong, so just letting you know right now.
But scoring 2 goals?
2 goals, 2 assists. He's gonna get more. Second game.
I just said goals. I just said
second
goals.
game week. How many does Haaland have?
What?
How many does Darwin have?
Bro, fucking
No. Yeah, give me the numbers. Give me the numbers. Respect.
Bro, Rodrigo scored like 2 goals today. Watch, he's gonna not score for like 10 game weeks. But I still stand by Gabriel Jesus that statement. But either way, he makes Arsenal 100 times better. So either way,
I think just to play devil's advocate, I think Nick just wants to see those top 6 battles and see how Jesus does there.
I don't think Nick sees the light yet.
No, he's an incredible player.
Believe in Jesus.
He's just not a goal scorer. He's not a goal scorer.
Put your face, bro.
Bro, honestly, it's on Pep. Look at Pep, bro. People are out coming out saying he doesn't give freedom to his players. It's true. Look at Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
After his interview, after his game against Leicester, he came out in an interview. He feels free. I'm just saying Pep doesn't give freedom to his players.
The only thing I can say about Gabby is we weren't signing a Gabby. In my opinion, we weren't signing Jesus, right? I'm saying Gabby over here too.
Damn.
I was just about to ask which one.
I know, right? We weren't signing Jesus to come in and just help facilitate, be another Lacazette. That would have been a waste of a signing. We could have just gave him an extension. But because he's that that kind of player that will get touches in the box, and he's actually leading. I forget. I mean, I can put the numbers on for look right now, but he, as far as getting touches in the opposition box, he's leading the numbers in that. So I think just by that metric alone, create opportunities will arise. Now you have Saka, Martinelli, who have to take advantage of those opportunities, but one person who used to and is expected to is Jesus. And you can definitely, in his interviews, he's saying it. He's happy again. Pep's system is probably so strict that players can't, lean out of it or don't have that
Yeah, they can't
freedom
deviate.
to create or something, to do whatever they want on their own. Dude, I'm seeing Zinchenko making runs across the field. Jesus dropping. It's so much freedom for these players to express themselves that I feel like Pep doesn't always give. I think that's getting the best out of Jesus, and we're gonna see a lot more goals. I'm expecting. Honestly, Marco, you said 25, right? Something.
25 goals.
That's okay.
21 left.
21 left. But yeah. Look, Leicester bounced back twice. Arsenal responded back, which is a good thing to see again. They didn't get back into that shell like they did last year. But I'm more curious about Leicester, what they're gonna do if they end up losing Maddison, Tielemans, and Fofana, and possibly Vardy too.
Did you see that video of Fofana online? Did you guys catch that at
The
all?
Arsenal fans?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's like in his trunk. And he's like, yo, come to Arsenal, bro.
Saliba, you and Saliba.
Saint Etienne again. But I don't know. Apparently Leicester are gonna sign some players. They better do, because if they're not, but they're gonna finish like 15th.
Yeah, man. This transfer window is shutting real quick.
Brendan Rodgers, his time at Celtic Liverpool, are notoriously known for the back end of it to completely have a fallout with players, and who knows what we've seen behind, what there could be behind the scenes with Kasper Schmeichel, because Kasper Schmeichel is the guy was like, he's Leicester through and through. So is Jamie Vardy. And there's already news. I saw Jamie Vardy to Man United today. That probably won't happen.
I saw it too.
But still, Brendan Rodgers is notoriously known for having fallouts with his whole team.
That's crazy.
But on the Arsenal side, I have one player.
Okay, no respect again. Here we go.
Nah, actually, you might agree with me.
Let it drop. Let it drop.
Martin Odegaard, right? If Favieta is the player that I think he is, and I hope he is, because his time at Porto was phenomenal. It's kind of Martin Odegaard. What I said about Eberechi Eze, who had a phenomenal game today, was really good. On last week against at home to Arsenal, he lacks stamping his foot on the game, and lacks authority, and lacks really imposing himself. I think Martin Odegaard. That's just what I think Martin Odegaard lacks. Like he never imposes himself on Favieta. If he kicks up, I think Favieta will replace Martin Odegaard a lot sooner than most people think.
I think he could replace Odegaard. I don't think he's going to, because I don't think they're gonna play this. I think they're gonna end up playing together, as far as maybe possibly 2-8s.
Well, that could be possible, because
So you just play one of
Party,
especially if Zinchenko,
which is what we've been doing for the most part.
right.
Single pivot. Shaka's been so far pushed up. He's a box to box right now. That's the way they're playing this. He's a box to box midfielder, a full on 8. But to your point with Odegaard, 100% agreed. Where he doesn't take his opportunities. Where he should take a shot, or that he's missing that in his game still. And maybe that's what Real Madrid they didn't see that in him. Who knows? But we were talking about this actually earlier, how I picked him up in fantasy because I was thinking, last season he statistically actually had one of the most created opportunities, actually top 1 or 2 or something like that. And I was thinking, Jesus coming in, create more opportunities, more goals. He should get more assists, right?
And that's him, bro. He knows you're talking.
Yeah. and then Diego made the point. Maybe it just, with Jesus coming in, it just allows him to create for other players now that are getting the assists and the goals. So that's how I'm looking at it more now. But I do agree with you where he's lacking that final third, like assist, or just something for teams to fear him, to not give him space. Because right now, you can kind of give him space, and you just pass it along and just keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
So, but Odegaard has to step it up.
Yeah, it could be a common theme with 10s nowadays. Obviously, I think we all know that 10s have kind of fallen out.
He's more of an 8 though.
Yeah, I'd agree, but I'd classify him as a 10-8, 10/8. Most of his work is done in the final third, outside the box, linking with others.
Yeah, a lot of cam work.
But I just think he probably doesn't look like a 10 because Arsenal probably don't set up in a 4-2-3-1. They still set up in a 4-3-3. But it could be a common theme with 10/8s nowadays where they don't really impose themselves. I can't really think about like 10s right now who really impose themselves on the game like players they did back in the day.
Yeah. Sorry. Anything else on this game, guys?
Just shouts to Martinelli. It looks like he's definitely picking up and proving that he's Brazilian to people finally. So, and I think him showing up to relieve Saka of all the heavy lifting he was doing last season is probably something that's going to lift the entire team.
Saka was quiet this game.
Exactly, but that's because the other two were popping off, and there was a lot more fluidity between those two players and in their positions and stuff like that. So I think that I definitely saw Saka, at least again from a fantasy perspective, he was putting a lot of the weight on his shoulders, and then now that he doesn't have to do that, he can probably like that responsibility. It feels like it's more evenly spread out along the forward line. So shouts to Martinelli for being Brazilian.
Well, to your point, Saka was our leading goal scorer last season.
Exactly.
So
that's exactly why.
we need to get more goals up top, and they're coming, thankfully. But
what's next?
Arsenal get the 3 points there, and the good times keep coming. And then we move on to Brighton, Newcastle, Wolves, Fulham. Both of those games in a 0-0 result. So snooze fest galore. And I'm sorry, guys, but we gotta talk about it. Brentford, Manchester United 0.
That's crazy.
Oh, United played? I didn't even know that.
That's crazy.
They blended
alright.
in. They must have blended in with the pitch.
So
Oh, that's why they wear their green kits.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I start with one question, and you guys just take it from there. But how much of this is on the players? How much of this is on the ownership?
I think it's hard to assign exactly how much goes to each. It's just everyone. Everyone's just to blame equally.
Yeah, I would say
think-
both equally because my thought process is definitely on the ownership because instead of reinvesting into the club, long story short, they're taking the dividends to themselves.
They reinvest in themselves.
But then you look at, okay, but Joel Glazer isn't on the freaking pitch with his ponytail. It's people like Rashford. It's people like Bruno. It's people like Sancho, like Fred, like McTominay. So they also have a hand in the result. And it's the same core of players that are able to do different things and they're able to show up in different ways. So even though for me, I would put it 51-49. I'd put it 51-49 because yes, we can. I would say that the ownership has a big hand in where the club is going in the future. Conversely, the players have a big hand in what's happening right now, presently on the pitch. So,
What have the Glazers done wrong?
oh my boy,
Besides everything,
Because United have
They-
spent the most money.
they
What else do you want? What else do you want?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
The only thing
Diego,
wrong is the recruitment
But-
staff.
But aren't all the people that the Glazers put in place non-footballing people?
that's true.
Same as Chelsea's owners, same as Liverpool's owners.
Correct. And the thing is that how do I put this? I think the best example is Carragher and Neville built a transfer list rating on Sky over the weekend. And they literally put all the players that have been bought during that era as green, amber, and red. Green being good, amber being fair, and then red being just non-starter bad transfers as far as on the footballing perspective and the monetary one. There's only 2 names in the green, which I can't call off the top of my head, but I'm going to look it up. Or maybe Guy, if you can give me that assist and look it
It
up.
was Bruno and
And Zlatan. It was Bruno and Zlatan, right? And then there was at least, I would say, probably more than 20 players on the red side, of which the stat was all of those players, the only one that's been sold for a profit has been Dan James. And we're talking Fellaini, we're talking Sanchez,
Yeah.
we're talking people like
Wow.
Falcao. And it's incredible to see, like, okay, we can say that they're paying themselves, taking money out of the club, not reinvesting, but then that 1 billion that they have invested has been solely for, I guess in my eyes at least, for them to be like, these are big name players, they can bring us more commercial value, it's going to put our stock price up, let's sign them so that we can milk that. And at least, of course, hindsight's 2020 all the time.
you guys signed Fred instead of Fabinho.
But that's the thing. Here,
Signing
there's
Fred isn't
how
going to get
many-
you more fucking shirt numbers.
how many stories have you guys read? Because I've read a shit ton, at least in the last 2 weeks, of players that have been offered to United, players that have been consulted to United, the board, let's say, by coaches, by other staff, by first team managers. There was the whole thing which really like it pissed me off that I think is disrespect to Valencia that Moises Caicedo was offered to United apparently for 4.5 million. And they thought it was some sort of like sketchy thing with like the agent. They didn't think that there was money in it, whatever. They didn't go for him. And we saw Moises Caicedo run the freaking game for Brighton against United in the opening weekend. And there's so many other names that are coming up now that were either players that maybe Solskjaer asked for, players that maybe Van Gaal asked for, players that Ralph Ragnick had suggested, and they're not there because the people that allow that money to be used, they're like, that's not going to give us any sort of return on investment. We're not going to sell merchandise, shirts, or what have you. And I know I'm I'm simplifying it just for argument's sake. That I feel like if I'm going to say that they've had a hand in everything, it's because they've had a hand in everything. And the players that have come into the pitch, come into the field, come into the team. What I said last time, the striker problem. Oh, let's sign a older striker just as a stopgap. And then
But
it's
that's
been
not
5
the Glazers though.
No, but
I think the money that they make available for the players, I think that they do have I at least I feel that they have a hand in that.
dude, are there any United? Arsenal, we have Edu Arteta. Chelsea have Peter Cech. Do United have anybody like from the I guess the old regime or that bleeds the culture in the club?
Darren
In the
Fletcher,
club?
no? Darren Fletcher.
Yeah, but
Fletcher.
he fucked off as soon as Fergie
yeah.
left because he knew. And then the one that was there for a while was also Michael Carrick, who they thought he was going to take over, but I think he sniffed that and he's like, I'm out of here too. And the thing is that they all run from it. You have people like Edwin van der Sar, who's super successful, at least with running Ajax and
Yeah.
stuff. And let's say, okay, maybe the argument could be that he wants to be around like his culture, his people, his countrymen, like his like own his home nation. But then it's like, okay, there are people that are part of what you said, like old regime, that know where the club has been, and they don't want to come anywhere near it because maybe they understand that their opinions or their insight is not going to be valued because it doesn't bring euros and it doesn't bring pound sterling back into the club.
But if you look at clubs like Liverpool and Chelsea, their owners view the clubs as a business as well. But
Of
they
course.
actually have recruitment staff who recruit the right players.
That's the key word. We have recruitment staff.
Right.
But
I
United have
feel-
recruitment staff.
I feel, but
They-
the thing is that I
no way
feel
they
like
don't have recruitment staff.
I feel like out of the recruitment staff that is there, at least this is something that I can't prove. But my feeling is that they do give their input, they do give their recommendations, and then they go unheeded. That advice goes unheeded because the people that are up top that will sign the check, that will greenlight the expense or the expenditure, they're looking at it like, okay, what can I get back from this?
I mean, dude, I think Frankie de Jong is the clearest example. Like, splash the cash and you get the guy, and that's the guy Ten Hag has been pleading for.
Yeah,
And the owners don't want to pay it out, but they'll pay.
They'll pay themselves before
They'll pay
they pay anything
themselves
else,
before.
which is what pisses me off because I know I'm pretty sure it was you I was telling. I mean, it might have been last week, but when the Glazers came in and bought the club, they had to take out a loan,
That's what
600 million or something like that, just to buy the club.
But they apply it back to the.
We're still in debt,
on
almost the
top
same
of
amount,
that, yeah.
but we're
Took-
still.
Wasn't just like a remortgage to itself essentially that he did.
basically, yeah. So they could keep borrowing from that, and then that's what they pay themselves off of.
We're still pretty much in the same hole that from when they bought the club 15 plus years ago.
Yeah,
That's
It's
the
just-
point. That's the season.
I mean,
there's no
it's
progress.
right. They're not doing anything but other than just bettering themselves, and of course it starts up top. But then as you said too, the players also have a say. They can easily turn around and say, okay, instead of buying into this toxic culture, let's do something about it.
Yeah,
And they're not doing it.
yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what Nick is saying as well. Like, you can't complain about not getting the players you want because you're getting all the money spent. But then you look at it, the coach. Yeah, how many coaches have you had in the past? What, 2 years?
2 years, 3.
3 coaches?
Well, if you want to count Ragnick, but whatever.
But yeah,
right.
3. Right. Can
Michael
use it
Carrick.
for a good portion. So you had 4 coaches, right? Assuming, Ollie was the longest one.
Ollie was here for 2.5 almost.
And how many players did he get that he wanted?
that he wanted, I think it was at the butt end. Because again, that Caicedo thing was a player that he wanted and he didn't get. And
So then
then
goes.
you have to pivot to other players that he
Yeah,
signed.
but I mean, most of the players who played against Brentford is his team.
That's the
that he
other thing
recruited.
too. And
Wan-Bissaka, Maguire.
that was a point that was made also, that of the starting 11, there are players from 5 different managers that were making part of, that were on that field that day, that were signed under 5 different managers, that are probably given 5 different styles of gameplay, that were probably given 5 different reasons to play.
Promises.
Yeah, exactly. The Dean Henderson thing is one thing that comes to
Yeah.
mind. Given he was
It's a
probably
big one.
given a promise under a certain manager, and then the next one came in, and he didn't see his opportunity, so he's gonna go out on loan, and he's gonna prove that he's gonna.
That
And
was
that's
a
a
loan.
whole another conversation that we're gonna have to have, because De Gea is a top 10 goalkeeper. Okay.
What are the Glazers like? They're pouring money into the club, regardless
You
if
know
they're
what?
regardless if they're in hundred millions of pounds of debt. Like, if you guys have signed this player instead of this player, like it's just said you guys signed Fred instead of Fabinho, and you guys actually recruited the right players, then what would be the difference? You guys, people wouldn't be saying Glazers out if you guys fucking signed.
100%.
I don't know if you guys would have signed Luis Diaz in January, who you guys were in for. Like,
100%. Wins and trophies eliminate all that. Look at Arsenal, for example. A few months ago, we had one of the biggest protests for Kroenke out, and now everybody's in love with him.
Chill. It's All or Nothing came out, bro.
Yeah,
it's,
well,
it's,
exactly,
It's the
but
Arteta love. It's
The
the pup.
context changes.
I think this means we need an All or Nothing guy. United need an All or Nothing.
Yeah, let's do
You
it.
do,
Why not?
bro. Honestly, man. Look, man. If there's anything like that, from as far as like from the outside looking in, as far as United go, like, and I think you guys are pretty committed to this, but it's just backing the manager.
You know what? Speaking of All or Nothing, his name is Josh, right? Josh Kroenke.
Kroenke, yeah.
The one, like, that's the thing.
He's
I
there.
don't see any of these fucking Glazer dudes to show up there, and it was cool at least.
It's
Like
that
maybe
they-
okay,
Of course, it's
let's
TV,
say-
but
let's say
he
it's
is
for just
there.
for TV, right? But the thing is that he's there.
He
And
is,
like
man. He really is
I'm
there.
that
pretty
they-
sure that these dudes just show up to the game to
They
be
show
like,
up to the game, they get plastered on freaking TV, looking all smug, and it's as if they're like, oh well, at least we're getting paid.
Like,
That's what
I
it feels
I
like.
don't
when
see
you see them
Joel
on
or
TV.
Avram or any of these guys sit down at least for TV, like how Josh did, and speak for his club. Like that shows someone who not necessarily invested in a sense,
Yeah.
but at least interested in where this institution is going.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
paints the wrong picture where they're clearly invested in the club for the wrong reasons,
like what?
just for their own gain.
Like Liverpool and Chelsea. So what's the difference?
Nah, bro. The thing is
This-
that at
this-
least
you
they,
can blatantly see that it's much worse.
Well, look, before with Chelsea, Abramovich, we know that situation, and he
Right.
he was a football man too. Like, he was committed. He was involved.
like, tell me how many times you've seen Abramovich at Stamford Bridge, like actually there.
Well, Liverpool's on it. John W. Henry. The only time he's fucking talked about Liverpool was when Liverpool signed up for that Super League shit, and he came out with a stupid
Well,
apology.
because it
That's
kinda
the only
came back
time.
to bite him in the ass. But
That's the only time I've seen him around the club
but there are no other like high level people that show up to the club.
that I know of. No, it's just
We'll have them
Is your sporting director there?
I don't know.
Okay.
have them show up or not. Still, they've given the people that are in charge of the footballing aspect the authority to be like, I want him, and I want him. And I feel like that's what Klopp's been given. That's what Conte, Chelsea was given. That's what even Mourinho was given. Like, they were given the authority to be like, I have the final say. Let me just guess, because I don't know, but I would like
yeah,
to
instead
think.
it seems like
I want the
the
final say.
managers are going saying, I want this player and that player, and then they're just looking at, well, he's not going to make us money. He's not going to make us money.
Well,
so no.
Let me
What do you mean make us
Shirt
money?
sales,
You're
any
telling-
merchandise.
You're telling me Harry Maguire was signed to make you guys money?
As-
You tell me you
as in-
spent 80
as in
million for
England?
Harry Maguire
As
to
an
spend
England
money?
player?
The
As
only
an
players you
England
guys
player?
the only
Is it-
players you guys
Why
have
not?
spent to make money is Ronaldo. That's literally it.
I don't know about that.
And Bastian Schweinsteiger. That's,
But that
that's probably
signing
it.
right there should kind of tell you, like, yeah, that's bad recruitment. Because that wasn't. a
So it's
player
just
they
recruitment. It's not the Glazers.
Well, in
Bro,
part,
they
yes.
signed. I love Falcao. They signed Falcao after a terrible knee injury. He was a shell of what he used to be. But they knew that I would like to think, because of his performance internationally, this is someone that's going to open our international like recognition, success, whatever. Get more people's eyes to view our club, be able to sell to them or get them interested, whatever. As far as like their world outreach, that's because like I'm looking at this list of 24 different players, and they're all over the place. They're literally all over the place.
Is Ten Hag, is he the coach or the manager of the first team?
He is the manager,
Oh, he's the manager. Okay.
and then Steve McLaren is essentially in as basically like the first team coach / like assistant to him as far as
okay.
the footballing
And
stuff.
John Bernto,
John Murtaugh,
Sporting director, right?
yeah,
he's an accountant though by trade.
correct.
Someone's got to tell the people up top how much money they're making.
Yeah, and then we saw that little the clip of what was his face? Was it Richard Arnold that bought some beers to these guys to the fans at the pub?
Yeah.
They're like talking to him or whatever, and I mean, I honestly I don't know. And the thing that I never at least saw it this way until I started hearing all the rumors, because obviously I have no way to prove it, but rumors of players that have come and gone as far as what previous managers wanted, and they haven't materialized. Like, I'm not talking about United getting linked to Wesley Sneijder every fucking year, or the Milinkovic Savic rumors every transfer window in the summer, but things like that. Things like I said though, like even like a Bissouma probably or something like that. I feel like it doesn't, if it doesn't make sense financially, those pleas are ignored.
So you're talking about Liverpool and stuff. I got to look at Chelsea, but Chelsea at the time Liverpool had this Edwards, Michael Edwards.
Yeah, he's about to leave the club.
He's about to leave the club. He brought in like said Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Andrew Robertson. And he's been in the game for quite a long time. He's a footballing person. He knows what to look for. He knows what to listen to. He's a sporting director. He's the one that kind of tells Klopp, yeah, I'll get you this player, or no, I won't get you this player. Make up your mind. Who do you want? Same thing with it do. These guys, and this is how I'm looking at it, because at least I've dove into the United channels and wanted to kind of see what the Glacier out was. This guy, John Murtaugh, is just somebody who just looks at the numbers for what it is and whichever has a better turnout as far as getting more money back in, which realistically hasn't really existed. But I have to look at Chelsea. But as far as Liverpool, you have this guy who knows football, who knows who to listen to, and then you have another guy who just looks at the numbers and doesn't listen to those around him who know what the game's about. I don't know. I don't know about your recruitment staff. I don't know. Has that been changed at all in like the past? I don't know that. At least for Arsenal, I know we got rid of our. Remember during the whole COVID, we furloughed a bunch of people. We just fired a bunch of recruiters. We went by statistics. We went a whole new route, which is what Liverpool are doing, and Man City are doing. So, do you guys have that similar?
As far as optics, I think it's all out the window with the new rumor that they want to sell James Garner for 14 million. And so it's like
he's a high prospect for you guys, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the midfield, he's 21. He's still young, very much the rough, I guess, version of what he'll be as a footballer. But it's like, if that rumor is true, that they're looking to sell him for 11 to 14 million just to come up with money to then use on somebody else that's much older as the band-aid to the problem, I think even their transfer strategy is out the window too, because it's like it's
They're just looking to make money. They don't care who it is at this point.
I mean,
is what it
that's
seems.
at least that's what it looks like to me.
Especially
Making
this
them make
late,
money, whoa.
especially this late into the transfer window. Like I've said before, we spent so much time trying to get a player who doesn't even want to come to this club that this is what we're left with now.
Every owner who's not either backed by a state and is not a fan, they're in it for the money.
Correct.
But
So I
especially,
don't understand.
but especially in this case, Ten Hag is the type of manager who likes to develop young players. There's no way in hell he wants to sell James Garner. He's being told to
I think
sell him.
when the priority of the prerogative becomes, will this ultimately make us more money, that the footballing aspect takes a back seat, and then obviously that is what starts to fail, and we see that right now with these first 2 game weeks of the season.
Lisandro Martinez isn't gonna make you more money. Like, who the fuck wants to get this guy's shirt? Like,
Without that, that was Ten Hag's third choice, right? From what I understand.
His third choice
like if
center
Ten
back?
Hag's starting targeting a 5'7" center back instead of a 6, like, is that the Glazers' fault?
Probably not. You do have a point there,
that's
but
fair.
again,
But again, he's tried to get who he wants, and he keeps getting turned down. So
what if he
it's
had
just-
to? What if he had to pivot to Lisandro? We don't know that. What if he had to
I
pivot
read
to
that was his third
Lisandro
choice.
to be like, okay, this is someone that at least I know that I've worked with before. These motherfuckers don't want to give me who I want, so I'm gonna go with the safe pick. the third pick.
That's what I said last episode. I said Ten Hag is targeting his old players because he doesn't trust the recruitment staff. That's my point. It's just the recruitment staff.
Maybe
in
the
my
recruitment
opinion,
staff, I
like
feel
this,
like
the
it's
whole
more,
this whole ownership
I
thing
feel like
is that
it's ownership.
I feel like
stuff.
people are just like
Like
over like analyzing it. It's just like
could be.
if your recruitment staff signed the right players, you wouldn't be saying get these et cetera out. Like if Liverpool hadn't signed, if Liverpool caved into Jurgen Klopp wanting Julian Brandt and Mario Götze from Dortmund instead of Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, Liverpool fans would be up and around and try to say, "Oh, FSG out."
That's fair. Yeah,
But
that's fair.
they signed the right player, and now just like for me, I think like I said, people overanalyze it.
So
if your recruitment staff acquired the right player, then it's all fine. Like it
what
doesn't
if
matter
a
if your
step
club is
further
in
if
600
that
million pounds of
recruitment
debt.
staff is vetoed from like saying like, okay, we're not getting Julian Brandt, we're not getting Mario Götze, we're gonna go for Mane and Salah because they're looking good, and then they turn around and the people above them, because there are still people above them. In United's case, they're gonna be like, no, we don't want to spend the money on these two guys. It has to go to somebody towards some other player that we feel is going to be probably more financially important to us.
I disagree. You think Joe Glazer thinks that X player is more valuable than Z player?
It's not being
No,
one
it's
being
not-
more
it's not-
valuable than the other. It's
the
the
dollar sign
bottom
is,
line. It's not. It may not necessarily mean, oh yeah, we didn't sign Martinez just to sell a bunch of shirts. We got Martinez the way we're looking at it now because he affects the bottom line the least.
Still, man,
Still don't
it's
understand that Glazer's out.
it's still
It's-
yeah.
The way I at least I can sort of gauge it is this is years of rotting. So when the Glazers were in, Sir Alex Ferguson was still there, or when did it
Yeah.
take over?
Yeah. for a
So
bit,
Sir Alex
and then
Ferguson.
he-
09, right? 08?
Yeah,
07,
and then
09.
that's when things if you look at it, they still made the Champions League 2 years afterwards, and then the players that he was getting a hold of started to shift dramatically.
And look, clubs don't go to shit in like 2 years,
No, of course not.
especially not clubs like
It's
Manchester
a
United.
slow burn.
It's
a slow burn.
this is a world icon club. This is arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world. So for them to go from 1 year,
This is Manchester United.
to go from one
No.
year being in the Champions League to the next year being where they are now, it's that takes years and years and years of rotting where players from the old regime continue to carry over. The players still want to go there. Still has that attraction. The money's paying well. Of course, they're going to attract players, but when the difference is that they never adapted. I think at least Liverpool were in the same boat until they finally adapted and got a proper sporting director, somebody who actually had a philosophy, had a transfer plan. If I ask you guys right now, what's your transfer plan? There literally is none.
There is none. No, if they're looking at selling academy prospects, there is literally none.
If you ask what's Arsenal's transfer last season, go young. It was simple as that. Like, it's there's no clarity with the Glazers and there's no direction. That's for me. And I'm trying, and I see why that the Glazers out is such a big thing, because at least when the Kroenke situation happened with us, they came out and said something, and they did the business this summer. We got signings in a week into the window.
This
That's
summer and
United did the business.
and last year
Huh?
too.
United did business as well. They signed Sancho, Varane, and Ronaldo in the same window.
and we said they need to get Ronaldo again. That to me, that should be the clear sign that that's not right recruitment. That's the people up top. They don't want to look bad and they want to get some money out of it too. It's
But
Ronaldo.
that's the only exception. I don't see
But
any
Sancho,
other.
we said he should go there.
Huh?
Sancho should. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's his next move." He's not looking. He's not progressing. That's a good.
It's
That's a good
supposed to
transfer.
be that was supposed to be a sound transfer, right?
But it's not looking like that because of everything else surrounding the club, where these owners just give them 150K a week. They can fuck off, and they still come back the next week and get back in the starting lineup and get another 150K.
No, I agree on the whole. United are on ridiculous wages. Like David De Gea is earning 400 bags a week. Like it's a joke in itself. But
It's crazy.
we'll get on to David De Gea later, bro.
He can't
well,
wait.
yeah,
He
no,
can't
no,
wait for
so-
that. I think we should transition
But
because
look,
we're
no,
talking a lot about United.
I
financial.
really wish I know the Glazers are probably not the best owners, but for me, people are over analyzing it. It's just a recruitment staff. Like if United had signed this player over X player, it would have been all fine.
Under
is-
normal
is New-
circumstances, yes, it would be.
Was
the recruitment
Newcastle a recruiting issue?
What do you mean?
Because they were once a great club and they fell down.
Yeah, because the owner would actually pour no money into the club.
And this is exactly what we're saying.
They're spending a lot of money. What do you mean
the
no
money
money?
is
They
the
spent $1
money-
billion since
But that's the
2010.
money the club is making. So
But
they have
they're
other
still
debts to
getting
pay
money.
off.
So they're still getting money. What's the difference if you're in fucking like what's the difference if you're spending 150 mil
Because-
plus every window and you're still 500
Because
million pounds in debt?
I
Like what's the
think-
difference?
I think the direct comparison would be if that money was being put back into the club that the Glazers were taking out, you'd be looking at war chests of like 2, 3, maybe 350.
How much you guys spend this summer so far?
Right now, I think it's just shy of 90, if I'm not mistaken. But that's because they're looking at what's his face for 50 million, the freaking Mateus Cunha and all these other people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing; it's all over the place. Cody Gakpo,
Yeah.
Cunha, Milinkovic.
There's no strategy there,
I
and
don't think there is. I
that
think
comes from
all
the
that
top.
is-
If
Yeah,
there's
because
no,
you-
if
because
there's no
you could-
business plan, that's from the top.
Because you can see that as soon as Ten Hag came in, he wanted, granted, yes, a lot of his Ajax players, but that was his plan. He wants players that he knows are good for his system. How many of them did he get?
All right. Well, look,
Anyway,
I think
De
this
Gea's
Gla-
top 10 goalkeeper.
oh, look. So this Glazers
And,
conversation is
and,
definitely enough. And there's
and,
one player that he didn't want is Dean Henderson, and he looked pretty good this weekend. One guy who didn't is De Gea.
Most overrated football player in the world right
That's
now.
crazy.
I think Ten Hag is gonna completely expose De Gea. And I don't know, what was your reaction after? I mean, the second goal was so many questions about that, but just in general, like just after that first goal went in, did you gonna get? We went back to the podcast and listened to what we said, and you said it. If never get the first goal, you're like,
Yeah, because I think you also highlighted it. Something to do with just we're a confidence club. We don't get
In
the
state
first
they're in
goal.
right now. Yes, absolutely.
We if someone scores on us first, like you can just tell the entire demeanor of every single player just immediately shuts down. There's no ánimo. There's no okay. Let's get back into this. There isn't that one player that's actually trying to rally everybody.
And I think the thing is that I think that first goal was an honest mistake because it happens. You know what? It happens.
That
It
doesn't
happens.
happen.
It happens.
Bro,
If you're,
It happens.
if you're me on Sunday night, then yeah, it definitely
That's-
happens.
David De Gea is
That's-
known for that.
That's what I'm trying to say though.
Oh.
It happens, but it happens to De Gea too often.
Okay.
And so he's like, shit.
We fell into a trap.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo. No respect. Yo.
Baited. You got baited.
That's funny.
It happens to him too often where you could immediately see that it affected his confidence and mentality for the rest of the game. Maybe even worse than Karius, because not only does he like imagine if you're like in his shoes, like in his boots, like damn, I butterfingered it again.
Yeah.
And then it's like in the build up, and I wrote it in the chat, in the build up to that goal where he gave the definition of a hospital pass to Eriksson, being marked and coming back towards goal, when there was two players where at least Eriksson himself was also saying there's two players here to your right, both Maguire and Martinez, that are out further. Put it that way. And it's like, as far as exposure, I think it sucks, but it's gonna expose that he is not able to adapt to that kind of play. He's not able to adapt with short distribution, playing out of the back, et cetera, et cetera. He'd rather just pump it long or whatever.
So but for me, that's on Erik Ten Hag. I like Ten Hag as manager, but for me, he's vastly underestimating the league right now and the
Yes.
quality of managers. For example, why are you targeting a 5'7" center back, Lisandro Martinez, who I've just said last episode, the
Yo, I
known
swear,
track.
Nick
We're
reduces.
talking about the
Look at
hair.
Nick reduces Lisandro's height by 1 inch every podcast.
Bro, the guy
I
can't
swear,
even
last
get
week
into-
it was 5'8".
Bro, I don't even think he can get on King the Car right now, bro. I
Wow.
don't think so. But either way, why are you targeting 5'7" center back when you know notoriously the league has not gone well for center backs who are notoriously short? Why are you trying to build up with David De Gea? Why are you trying to play Eriksson in the 6 against Brentford, who are probably the second best team at winning the second ball in the league? I don't understand.
I
Like
think
for
it-
example, last episode I said Thomas Tuchel, he comes in, he simplifies his players' roles and instructions. Thomas Tuchel never played a back five in his career. He never played at Mainz. He never played at Borussia Dortmund. He never played at PSG. Comes into Chelsea. Oh, I'm gonna look at Antonio Rudiger. I'm gonna look at Andreas Christensen. I don't think they play really good in the back four. I'm gonna simplify their role. Put them on the left center back, right center back. I'm gonna look at Jorginho, who played in a 4-back in the lone pivot with under Maurizio Sarri. Identifies that Jorginho isn't a single pivot player. Puts him in a double pivot player. Like just simplify your players' instructions.
I think it goes back to what we were talking about last week, where it was like, does Ten Hag play his philosophy?
Yeah,
or
that was
does he-
it's exactly that.
Or does he play to survive? and I think it bit him in the ass that he wanted to be like, all right, I know what I'm doing. It's up to these players to execute, and they just completely flopped. They bent over.
Nick, from the outside, how would you line up?
He's been saying back three, and that's what Robbie Earl said today after the game during the match day live after the Liverpool game today, where he was saying, you know what, they should just play three in the back, and they should keep it simple for them and give them the extra cover. Put Maguire, Varane, and Martinez there if you have to, and then just put Malacia and Wan-Bissaka as wingers. They're not the greatest at going forward, but at least they'll have the cover when they need to get back.
A back three negates Lisandro Martinez's weaknesses because he won't have to aerially challenge on the left side. And negates Harry Maguire's weaknesses and mobility and trying to play in the high line at middle center back. Exactly what Thiago Silva plays at Chelsea, center back. Thomas Tuchel knows that Thiago Silva isn't mobile enough to play in the back four, so therefore he puts him in the middle center back. So there's a lot of players who would benefit from back three formation. It's whether Ten Hag wants to swallow his pride or whatever and switches. It's still very early. We could still see it against a game week 3 against Liverpool next Monday, but
if it goes on.
Hey, I just want to say,
if it even
I
goes
just want
on
to
at
say
this
to a specific Liverpool fan that how does it feel to be playing against relegation contenders, and you could be in relegation yourselves if you win.
Facts.
Oh man, but yeah, man. Look, there's like just so much going on right now, and just lastly, quickly touch on this. I've been seeing a lot of things coming out of Ronaldo's attitude, and if it doesn't change, he's gonna get shipped out. Yada yada yada. Is this the media playing the game again, or do you actually see signs of that being a reality?
I don't see signs of that, only because I think like my point of view is always going to be that negative press will always drive clicks, will always drive views, will always drive interaction for the people that are publishing it. So obviously, like I don't know if you guys noticed, but the amount of just United memes bashing like posts were like instantly from everybody, Sport Bible, Odds Bible, soccer meme, football, one football.
Trust me, I know as an Arsenal fan.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like when they do bad, they know it drives more, and obviously that is definitely a tinfoil hat moment to be like that's the sole reason. But I would like to think that that's maybe at least a driving factor. For them to amplify like anything slightly or possibly negative, for them to be like, you know what, Ronaldo's gonna leave. His attitude is poisonous to the locker room. At this point,
I don't give a shit.
Really?
Don't.
At this
point, because I'm at a point where if everything turns out to be true, then fuck off. We don't need that kind of player. Granted, there's probably a lot more also.
I don't think we have the luxury to be like fuck off.
But I don't think
that's why I'm in the
right.
That's why I'm in the opposite camp.
But I think Rio Ferdinand actually said it the best. This was yesterday.
He's reading.
The noise coming out of the club the last 24 hours, madness. Don't know what to believe right now looking at all the news outlets. There's just so much out there that I see everything and I just ignore it because I don't know what to believe anymore.
What was that, the Tom and Jerry meme? Where it was like trying to banter United fans, and it's Tom Cat going up to Jerry, poking him with like a sword or like a knife or something, and you just see Jerry Mouse, who's just like mad depressed like this. Like,
oh,
just doesn't even care.
Oh, all right. Well, look, that's enough United talk.
Whoa.
Another one?
He wants to slander.
He wants to slander 5'6" Martinez.
Yeah, but next episode 5 from 5, bro.
Oh my god.
I honestly, bro, there's a picture of him standing next to Messi. Messi's 5'7".
Yo, Ben.
He's shorter than Messi.
I mean,
he's not short.
Just expose him.
He's very short, man.
He's not shorter than Messi.
It's kind of funny how short it is, but I have a statement to make.
Oh my god.
It's kind of sad as well.
Oh my god.
I'm officially dropping all Jadon Sancho stocks. He is a definition of a luxury player.
Pepe 2.0.
If you look at Dortmund, right? He's a player who needs all the right perfect conditions to thrive in. United have no perfect conditions to thrive in. So, for example, United have no overlapping fullback to support him in Luke Shaw or Diego Dalot. United have no 8 who he can link up with, who he can combine with, and United have no physical presence in the box who can drag defenders. Maybe a little bit Ronaldo. All 3 of those players that I just said, the overlapping fullback, the 8 who can support him and combine with, and the physical presence who can drag defenders inside the box, Borussia Dortmund had in Rafa Guerreiro, Achraf Hakimi, Jude Bellingham, and Erling Haaland. Like I just said, Jadon Sancho needs perfect conditions to thrive in. United probably won't have those perfect conditions to thrive in. Probably for the next. Who even knows? They won't have it this year. They probably won't have it next year. Maybe in 2 to 3 years. In 2 to 3 years, Jadon Sancho. So it's just safe to say he probably won't work out. So yeah, I'm just dropping all Sancho stocks, unfortunately.
Now you just kind of open Pandora's box. But I just have one quick question. Assuming the Glazers, if they back Ten Hag, and he starts getting the players he wants, how long do you see this project until you start becoming that team again?
That's a big assumption, man. I'm gonna say it's gonna take 2 years. I'm gonna say it takes a minimum of 2 years, not counting this window. I'm saying by 2025, and that's ridiculous to even think about. But by the season 24-25,
you'll be like back.
If he's actually listened to, and then they give him, not everything he needs, but what he's asking for, that's gonna be crucial. I know it's gonna be something that's long term, and they're gonna have to eat shit. And I am a Solskjaer apologist, and I've been fucking eating up all that shit. I've been eating up all that shit.
Wait, what? I saw you posted something about Ollie on Instagram.
Yeah, because you look at this. It's essentially the same group of players that this guy delivered his top 4 finish. Now suddenly it's an achievement to be in semifinals. Now suddenly, and of course hindsight's 2020. It's like, okay, he made something happen where there was a whole fucking season where I didn't care if they scored first. I was happy if they scored first. I was fucking talking shit if they scored first. And be like, yeah, comeback FC, what's up? Now they let you score so they could score 5 more on you. He had so many games where the United score 1. He had that record string of games, winning by 4 more goals consecutively. And it's like, okay, yeah, vibes, whatever. He doesn't know what he's doing, whatever. I still think that the guy, at least in my eyes, he deserves a lot more credit for what he was able to do with the same group of players, essentially, the same group of players that are there. Of course, once Ronaldo came in, everyone can be like, yeah, that threw a spanner in the works. And maybe he wasn't ready to adapt to that because it was kind of late in the window that he showed up, right? If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I want to get that in. So Ollie G, I know you're in Norway somewhere, in front of a
fishing, golfing. What does that mean?
in front of a campfire in your huge living room, just sipping on your wine. I just want to say thank you, bro.
Well, when Ole was in charge, he arguably had the third best squad in England. United don't have the third best squad right now in England.
That's the thing, though. He finished and was the second best squad.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He got top 4 because I'm not saying solely because United had a third best squad, but I think that's a very deciding factor. United have, if you look at the years he got top 4, which is 2020, 1920, right? United had a better squad than Arsenal, arguably better squad than Chelsea, arguably a better squad than Tottenham, at least when Bruno Fernandes came in. If you look at the COVID season 2021, United by far had the third best squad in England, better than Arsenal's, better than Chelsea's, better than Tottenham's. So I agree. I think with, obviously, you look at Ollie, what he did last season when he was in charge. I agree, but I don't know, man.
I think what's sad about all that is I just said earlier, a few minutes ago, that we don't have that one person who's rallying the troops. That was Ollie. He wasn't even on the pitch, and he was still having these players that wanted to actually play for him. As soon as he left, you can see that we don't have that one guy who is willing to take over that role. We don't have that true leader.
So as soon as come from the players, though, that's come from the manager,
right?
For the players to be like, I fuck the manager, fight for the club, like that 4-0. That's that, dude.
Captain role.
Huh?
It's a captain role.
It's not even. I mean, yeah. First of all, Maguire shouldn't be captain.
He shouldn't be on the pitch.
He shouldn't be on the pitch. Yeah, exactly. So, when is it Ten Hag's fault?
Well, it's his fault for keeping Maguire. it's his fault for keeping the band on Maguire. For sure.
I think it becomes Ten Hag's fault when he decides to not adapt, because clearly he can make something different, as easy as a formation change. We just talked about it. Okay, maybe it's easier said than done, but as simple as a formation change, stick 3 defenders there. You're obviously not good enough to apply your tactical information the way you want to with the players that they're set up in a certain way with a back 4, whatever. As soon as he decides that, you know what, I'm going to be stubborn, I'm going to keep trying because I'm the fucking best. I'm the best bald manager in this damn league.
Whoa. I don't know about that.
We will see. We will see. But like, I think there's way too much time on
Yes,
United.
a lot about
so
United,
Let's,
man.
let's
Sorry.
quickly talk about the battle that happened.
Please,
at the bridge.
please come back. Whoever just shut us off. Please come back.
Yeah, for real. We're talking about the fight that happened. The almost slap fight between Conte and Tuchel, right?
That's what Gad did to me right now when he came in.
I was
put
Nick
his-
that came in when he first
Oh
walked
yeah, that
in
was
there,
Nick
right?
too, bro. He put his
But-
hand out and he was like,
To a firm handshake.
Koulibaly reached James on the score sheet for Chelsea. Beautiful goal for Koulibaly. It was
"Yeah, it was nuts. That
phenomenal
was
strike.
phenomenal."
Reached James. Nick has high praise for him, right?
Oh yeah, I think if you were to, like I said in chat, if you were to build a fullback in the lab, he'd be probably what comes out. Just everything, very complete.
Very complete, but what was very incomplete was their performance because they ended up drawing that 2-2. And look, my only question to you guys, it was I don't know how Spurs got this point off, but the officiating.
That's a red card, bro.
That
That's a red card. That's a red card.
And then there's one video, which I'm sure you guys saw too, where Anthony Taylor was literally
Looking
right
at him.
behind them.
Yeah, he's right behind him.
Literally looking at it happen. And no, let's continue.
that's so fucked. That's so fucked.
Did he see? I know I'm jumping the gun, but did he see the Darwin headbutt? Today Paul Tierney,
didn't
did
go
he
back
see
to
the
it.
Darwin get? But did he see Darwin do it?
I don't even know.
must have
I
seen
don't
it.
think he
He
did.
must have seen it. For it
I
to
don't
be-
think he
for it
did,
to be so quick.
If he okay, my point is, did Paul Tierney today have as clear of a field of vision as Anthony Taylor did during the hair pull?
No,
I don't even know.
I would say no. I think that was.
So then, how the hell did Darwin?
I didn't even. Honestly,
he-
he
I think-
probably did have a view on it because if he didn't, he probably wouldn't have went to VAR.
I guess so. But
Because
then that,
if he would have received word from VAR, he probably would have go check.
Well,
the
the thing
video.
is that
so
it-
if VAR reviewed it because it was violent conduct. Because let's be honest. And what I was saying to Eric before we recorded, if you're gonna headbutt somebody, just go out blazing glory. Just Zidane a motherfucker right in the
Yeah, 'cause
chest.
you're still gonna get 3 games. so.
Exactly. You're still gonna get it, so you might as well hit him
Fuck it,
good.
yeah. You're gonna go down, you might as well go down in
so
style.
If that's still by the book,
And that's the
It's-
wine right there.
if
South
by
American culture right there.
if by the book it's still gonna be violent conduct, I don't see why. Going back to the original argument, I don't see why Romero taking Cucurell's wig, Cucurella's hair, making it into a wig for himself.
Remember when what was it? Martial got a red for Lamella.
Yes.
that? I forgot what Martial.
I
was
thought
it?
Lamella baited him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what did Martial do? I forgot what he did.
Nothing. He stepped to him with his forehead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it was
The
kind
same
of
thing.
Romero's definitely a lot worse than he did in receiver.
Oh, Romero's a bitch. He's a dick. But I mean, seriously, how this ref, like, historically he favors Spurs,
Yes, I saw that too. I
Mhm.
saw the post.
and he definitely hates Chelsea. But I'm fine with that. But he definitely favors Spurs.
Hey,
I don't know. That's my tinfoil hat for the moment. And Kane shouldn't have gotten that goal. It should have been an own goal by Reece James. So fuck you, my fantasy points. Anything on the Spurs in the battle of the bridge besides the Conte and who wins that fight? Conte or Tuchel?
Tuchel.
ding 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 ding.
I give it
Tuchel.
Conte.
I give it a Conte.
Conte's
bro.
got the fundamentals.
Because
bro.
you see, the point I want to make. Did you see Tuchel's post match where he's like, the
Flex
still
that-
he's flexing
that
his tiny
noodle
bicep?
arm.
Karma.
Yo,
Sponge-
Conte,
the
you look at
SpongeBob
that video,
arm?
that handshake, you see that fucking muscle bulge. I was like, damn,
Yo,
my man about
lower,
to scrap
the
right
lower
now.
center of gravity. You could probably,
Yeah.
probably grapple him.
The only thing Tuchel has is reach.
Of
But other than
course.
that, but if it's not,
But
you
he
gotta
just
land him.
looks a little bit like lanky. He
Yeah,
looks
he
like
looks like
awkward.
Yeah, Conte a little
Gumbo.
huskier. He a little
Exactly. Conte probably sweep the leg, bro.
Conte's punch is probably he probably punches hard as hell.
Yeah,
He
he
probably
probably,
punches
get
hard
one
as
of his thugs to
I
punch
mean,
him,
he's
bro.
German, right?
Yeah, but
Tuchel,
Tuchel's lanky, but he's probably agile. He's probably quicker. He can probably dodge and get out of the way and tire Conte
That
out.
man, look, he looks weird as hell. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like Tuchel would like go like this.
Very Irish.
Yeah.
Very Irish. Who do you have winning that fight, Marco? Conte, man, without a doubt. All right. Conte wins that fight. Let us know who you think wins that fight. Let's move on to the last game of the week of game week 2, the game where Nick gets that cover. No respect. 1-1.
He said
I'd have
it's your comeuppance, Nick. You're gonna take that?
Bro, I'm not letting Arsenal fan chat.
I'm just saying, no respect. You said we're gonna get spanked 3-1. Who drew at home 1-1?
We'll see at the end of the season when Arsenal are in
all
top
good.
4 again.
Oy,
For the
oy,
third season.
oy,
I
oy.
can't, dude. Oh my god, bro! You better hope all this comes to fruition because I do think it's gonna happen, like you're saying. But if it doesn't come to fruition, I am gonna milk the shit out of this. But all right, let's talk about the game real quick. I mean, first of all, fuck Darwin for fucking me over. But
Hey, me too, man.
Is that a worrying sign for you from a player like him? That
You can get wound up.
you can get wound up pretty quick. Honestly, that was a pretty quick wind up from him. Or was it just the home debut, that atmosphere that got him?
I forgot it was his home debut. What a shit show from him. um,
But you saw what
honestly,
Anderson did, though. You saw what Anderson
yeah,
was
like
doing.
just push
to
him in the back, right?
Yeah.
Type shit.
And before that, you saw the little
the little hug,
hand?
and he was like, "Get off me!" Like,
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that was funny.
I mean, I think Klopp is an incredible man manager, so probably the best in the world at man management with his players. So I'd probably expect him to get
Laid into.
for to Darwin Nunez, but
He won't
like I
understand.
said, he won't understand. That'll be so awkward. He's just gonna be screaming. He's gonna have like some dude who's not
Yelling
gonna
at him too in Spanish.
he's not gonna have the same. He's probably not gonna have the same
What if
energy.
he does though? What if he's like Klopp is yelling at this guy, and this guy's like,
Oh no, no.
no.
It'll probably be Pep Linders, Klopp's assistant coach, because he speaks Spanish and Portuguese. But either
Oh.
way, he does seem like a very fiery guy. And I know like there's a common perception with like South American players who are like very fiery.
I mean, did you just hear what he said? If you're gonna go out, go all out. I
That's
mean,
fucked up,
hello.
But yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it could be an advantage to his game, the fiery side. But like I said, Klopp's an incredible man management, so I think he'll get that side out of his game. But in terms of the performance, I think Liverpool played pretty well.
God, the vlog's hard.
Yeah. I thought, interestingly enough, I thought Patrick Vieira in those like first 30 minutes, I was like, damn, I was kind of surprised he came out with like this like the amount of space he let Liverpool have in the midfield was like very surprising. I was like, that's probably the last thing he wanted to do until Zaha scored. Until obviously Vieira changed his style. Obviously he's gonna set up in the low and mid block. But Liverpool had an incredible amount of chances. Like they had that
What was it in the first half? 13 shots, something like that.
Dude,
That
it was,
they had.
Yeah, I think Liverpool had like an XG of like just a tad bit over 2.
the XG was 2 point something to 1.76, I believe. to
Yeah,
Crystal
yeah.
Palace.
So in terms of the overall performance, it was a lot better than the Fulham away last week. But it's still the same issues with like I'm surprised your Klopp picked James Milner. No, the Phillips one I understand because apparently Joe Gomez had a knock. But like I said, in my opinion, if you're fit enough to be on the bench, then you're fit enough to start. And then when he actually came onto the pitch for those 30 minutes, he's actually really good.
Yeah, he played a lot better than Nat Phillips, who was getting targeted the crap
Yeah.
out of.
Like I said, the fascination of like top Reds with him is incredible. Like the guy was bang average last season in Championship, and top Reds still think he's good enough to start for Liverpool. Like I just don't get it. But either way, I was surprised he picked Milner over Naby Keita. I really don't understand that because Naby Keita, he was literally in training last week. He was ill. He was in training last week, and he still somehow picks James Milner over Naby Keita.
He was on the bench.
Yeah, he was on the bench. He was fit. He had an illness 2 weeks ago. He trained the whole last week, and he still picks James Milner over Naby Keita. For me, that's a sign of favoritism. In my opinion.
You think Klopp is guilty of that?
Of what?
Playing favoritism?
Yeah, that's his major
Edgar and I were
criticism.
talking about that. Like,
For example, like James Milner, Jordan Henderson, Firmino. There's actually a very interesting article. His time at Dortmund is his last season, where it was a complete burnout. It was a shit show if you ask Dortmund fans. Klopp's last season, and I saw.
Get ready.
Huh?
Get ready.
We'll see. There's actually a kind of a similar thing where you see. I think it was Marcel Schmelzer who was Dortmund's left back at the time, and Sahin, who was also a defender for Dortmund. And the article said that he was very clinging on to those players until it was just no more and everything just went down. And it's kind of a little bit type of similar to what he's doing with James Milner and Jordan Henderson, where he's constantly starting these players over players who should be starting. You know, Jordan Henderson last week over Harvey Elliott, James Milner this week over Naby Keita. It's not James Milner. He didn't have a terrible performance, but again, same thing with Andy Robertson. The 2021 season, I think Tsimikas he had like 90 minutes combined of Premier League minutes. So for me, that's Klopp's major flaw, where it's constant picking up players in a starting 11 over players who on merit should be deserving to start. So yeah.
So, as far as once Darwin came off and Luis Diaz lit up, Well, what do you think about that? Do you think that's going to be maybe an underlying thing that when Nunez does come back, it's going to kind of dim them down as far as what Diaz and Salah may need to be doing, focusing on their creator role instead of just again putting the game on his back?
Well,
Because that was literally what his goal was. He just danced through 6 players and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do this myself."
even with, it's hard to base it out because Liverpool are throwing the kitchen sink against a team.
Bro, I thought they were gonna score in the first
Against
20
against a
minutes at least.
team in a deep block with
Cross,
Liverpool
cross,
with
cross,
10 men.
cross.
So it's kind of hard to really judge the whole thing. Luis Diaz. If you look at Luis Diaz's overall performance, and with Darwin Nunez is going to come back, I think even with Luis Diaz, he's still being utilized as a touchline winger to have with. And I go back to this Andy Robertson situation where if you're gonna have a player who's holding with who's going in touchline, your left back should be able to play inside a lot more comfortable, right? Andy Robertson isn't that comfortable playing on the inside. He doesn't have, I guess, the technical security as Costa Simicas has, who can play inside, who can overlap, who's a lot better. Like if you look at this game, Andy Robertson was in a huge amount of space, positions attacking. Costa Simicas is a lot more comfortable in those attacking positions. So I don't understand the whole. That's why I think Luis Diaz, you haven't seen the best out of him because he doesn't have a supporting fullback like what I've seen with Jadon Sancho and Jack Grealish, right? But I don't know. It's a tricky one with Luis Diaz because I think what you're seeing right now is like that. For example, that goal is like what he could be. Like if you look at his XG and XA, I remember this was his chart. It was expected assists and expected goals for players under the age of 25 in Europe's top 5 league, and he was near Mbappe. So it's probably meaning that he's underperforming his expected assists and expected goals.
Right.
But then again, it goes back to the whole how Klopp is utilizing him. He's obviously utilizing him to hold with, but then you're having a fullback next to him who clearly doesn't complement each other. Like for example, Bukayo Saka, he's probably more comfortable playing with Tomiyasu because Tomiyasu supports him more. Right? Ben White he's going to invert, right? So it's the same thing with like Saka, like I just said. He's probably more comfortable playing with Tomiyasu. So wingers playing with fullbacks who are comfortable playing with each other is very key. It's one of the main reasons why Mane was so good because Andy Robinson was so comfortable playing with him. Mane and Luis Diaz are completely different players. Like I just said, Luis Diaz loves to hold the width. Mane was a complete inside forward whose main objective was to score goals. Andy Robinson would provide the width outside, so it'd be Andy Robinson on the touchline, Mane more inside. Now it's opposite with Luis Diaz, and Robinson inside isn't as comfortable. So yeah.
What do you feel Palace did good, Eric?
I actually have Vieira impressed me with just like the whole to maintain their composure throughout the game and still go at it, not score the goal and concede back. Oh man, he was.
Yeah, he showed the imposing part that I said. He was like, okay,
he was dribbling through players, breaking the presses, and then honestly, Zaha could have had 2 more goals.
Yeah, but Zaha was slipping everywhere, and he was ugly ass touches.
Yeah, that's why you see Zaha not moving on to the next step. But like the fact that he got into those opportunities against Liverpool, being still pressing hard, I was very impressed, and I'm actually very interested to see what Vieira does with this team, man. Again, a very young, well, for the most part, a very young team, solid players, and there's just a lot of opportunity there. So I'm excited to see Crystal Palace 100%.
I noticed his celebration. It was like a very muted. He was like,
because dude, he's huge, bro. I never realized how big he is until I saw him standing next to Klopp. I'm like,
was Zaha?
No, Vieira.
Oh, the Vieira, he's 6'4".
Fucking huge.
Easily.
I mean, no wonder people are fucking terrified of him.
He's 6'4".
It's kind of scary. But look, we saw how the title race ended the previous couple of years. Is it too far to say that it's a 2-horse race now between Man City and Arsenal?
Oh my God! Cut it! Cut the EP.
But honestly, like Nick, these are. I'm talking more to you, I guess. But Fulham, Crystal Palace at home. These are 6 points you guys should have gotten.
Yeah, how does it feel having 2 points above relegation contenders United?
Yeah,
it really bad, right? You got really above.
Does that
at least I don't have a 5'5" center back.
5'4" next episode. 5'4" on Wednesday.
He might not even be 5 foot, bro.
Yeah. A certified short person.
Agenda.
Nah, but like, so like, is it honestly, guys? Like, and I'm asking on you guys this, but Nick, I'm asking you because you know how close you guys live and experience how close the title race is, knowing that these 2 games were not must wins, but usually kind of guaranteed wins for you guys. Does this make that title hope that little bit less?
Probably not. I remember the 2021 season. I think it was when Man City lost to Tottenham at home. I remember a lot of people, if my memory serves correct, a lot of people were already saying City won't win the league. That was in November. Last season, City lost away at Tottenham 1-0. Then they won. I'm pretty sure they won their game week 2. So that makes it 3 points. That's only 1 point ahead of like Liverpool. Obviously, fine margin. Liverpool have lost 1 point 2 times already, but it's still like 1 point. You know, it's 1 point, but 2 game weeks, 2 points. 2 game weeks, 3 points. It's not the biggest of difference in August. So, but it wouldn't be an outlandish take to say that
Well,
okay, City already have.
keep in mind, it's a lot more compact this year.
Yeah, which in my opinion, probably benefits Liverpool more than Man City since they have a lot less players going to the World Cup, at least key players. But for me, it probably wouldn't be an outlandish take to say City have probably not already won the league, but it's looking like City. Probably
Let's just say they have a leg up.
Look, statistically, right now, it's Man City and Arsenal. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god!
I'm just get everybody triggered right now.
You know what's
You sound like Gat showing us the draft table and be like top of the league. I can't, bro. I can't wait till the end of the season, bro. I can't wait.
I bookmarked this tweet. I found it very interesting. Let me see if I can find it.
Hit us with the knowledge, Nick.
Hold up. Let me see. Hold up. I'm gonna say hold up until I can find it. Hold up.
I mean, honestly, bro, I'm fine if you stop the count here for the league.
Okay,
man.
I got it. Sorry. Wait, you guys first?
No, we're second.
Oh.
Goal differential. But we have the same. We have the same.
Wait,
amount
who's first? I haven't even checked the league.
we have the same amount of Man City.
Oh,
We have the same amount of goals as them. Isn't that kind of crazy? How we went from three games with no goals, and now we're actually scoring goals. It feels so good to
So
be doing right for once.
so this is okay. So
All right, hit it.
it's crazy how good, and you said it. Obviously, Pep is a league manager. It's so crazy how good. Like since Barca, I think it's like 9 times he hasn't won the league. I mean, 9 times, 2 times he hasn't won the league out of like 11 tries, something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And Conte's 16-17 Chelsea. In order to actually win the league against Pep, you basically need to outperform either your XGA, your XG against, XG conceded or whatever, or you need to outperform your XG expected goals. So in Conte's 16-17 Chelsea, they finished with 93 points. Tottenham finished with 86 points in second place. Conte, they outperformed their XG by 23. So they scored. So their XG was 61. They scored 85 goals.
Damn.
They massively overperformed their XG. And I don't have the stat for Liverpool's 19-20 win, but Liverpool massively overperformed their XG conceded. So they conceded a lot more. They conceded a lot less than they should have. So it basically indicates that in order for you to win the league against Pep, you need to outperform either your XGA or your XG, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
So you need to be better than yourself.
Yeah, you need to, which is mostly impossible. So.
Which is kind of honestly kind of represents what Pep's football is, competition for position, which is kind of crazy how that translates to the league now. But yeah, look, that's anything else on Liverpool debacle at home to Crystal Palace?
Yes, I have one more.
Oh, Jesus.
Henderson came in. I'm sorry, dude.
He was gonna save the game for you if you weren't hating, bro. He felt the agenda when I saw it when he was booting up.
Yeah.
He almost tripped over himself. He's like, "Oh, bro, I feel like someone's wishing evil eye on me."
He shouldn't be starting though. Harvey Elliott looked really good.
He did look good. I really looked
Yeah,
good.
there's this myth that he isn't good defensively. I think it's very untrue. I think he won a lot of his. He's probably not as great in duels, but he's actually. I wouldn't say he's good defensively. He's just Liverpool don't play worse with him in the team. Because if you look at Harvey Elliott, he seems like a short, stocky, small dude. He probably accustomed to. This guy's probably slack defensively. But Liverpool actually don't even play that even worse defensively, even with him on the pitch compared to whether it's Jordan Henderson or James Milner or Naby Keita. So.
Well, was that your point about Harvey Elliott?
No. My point was that Fabinho, right?
Harvey Elliott's 5'7", by the way.
Yeah, there's talking about team
No.
that's shorter than 5'7".
Oh my!
But
Hi,
Fabinho, I think he's massively overrated. I think he's massively overrated. It's not really his fault. I think he's physically declined since his injury in 2019. I think one thing that would have benefited him was so last season in the late end, it was really Naby Keita and Thiago alternating for that left-sided 8, especially in the back end of the season in FA Cup, Champions League. I think what would have really benefited him in the past seasons would be him and Jordan Henderson just constantly rotating in that 6 role. right? So I think that would have massively benefited him because I look at him.
You think that
just
center back stint kind of ruined it for him?
for Fabinho?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't play much at center back for that 2021 season because Klopp realized that he needed a ball playing center back, so he started playing Jordan Henderson in center back and then moved Fabinho up the pitch.
Right.
And Klopp started realizing, oh, maybe this Nat Phillips guy is kind of decent, or Reece Williams. He started playing him in there, but Fabinho, he just doesn't look the same anymore. I think.
How old is he? 32?
I think he's young. He's like 29, 30.
Oh, he's 29.
Which is
No way.
Yeah, he's like 28, 29.
I was about to say,
he's
maybe
late
it's just old
20s.
age, man. Cut him some slack. This guy, yo,
He's
Nick,
late 20s,
Nick
but
wants to scythe down every Liverpool player. Just doesn't. Okay.
no, there's
28 years old.
Wow.
and he doesn't. If you watch him next Liverpool game, just watch
He
him.
looks old as fuck,
He
honestly.
looks physically like the guy gets skinned every
I think
time.
he aged. That's the thing. He aged very early than what as actually portrayed.
He peaked
Maybe.
early. He peaked early.
Yeah, maybe, but the guy, if you actually
He
watch
gets
him, just,
pickpocketed. Is what you're saying?
what do you mean? He doesn't pickpocket anyone, but
No,
physically
he
looks
gets
wild.
he gets pickpocketed.
Oh
like-
my! If go look at the Etihad game last season, Kevin De Bruyne fucking tore him a new one, man. Obviously it's De Bruyne, but the guy, he's almost a net negative on and off the ball, because on the ball he isn't that good enough, and off the ball he's kind of a slouch physically, which is the reason why I said Klopp wanted Aurelian Tchouameni. And this leads me on to another theory that I have, is that I think it's not really it's not really a theory, but I think we're starting to see, so we already started to see the new wave of fullbacks and inside wingers and inside forwards. I think we're gonna start seeing the wave of progressive sixes. So Mikel Arteta going out to spend money on number 5, Thomas Partey. Fuck. Man City going out to sign Rodri.
Can't say Party's name with a straight face. It's crazy.
Yeah,
No
well-
respect.
Well, I
Does he
mean,
know?
ongoing situation.
Yeah,
We can't comment on it, but he's still playing. So
But Pep Guardiola going out to sign Rodri, who's a progressive 6, and you see Carlo Ancelotti going out to sign Tchouameni as a progressive 6 as well. So I think we're gonna start to see that 6s nowadays are gonna have to be more progressive. If we actually look at more tactically, whenever Thiago will play next to Fabinho would actually be the one behind Thiago. I mean, ahead of Thiago. So Thiago would be the one behind Fabinho. Thiago would actually play that forward pass into Fabinho.
right.
Right. So Fabinho is obviously not that comfortable on the turn. Which that's just it's a little theory. I just think we're gonna see 6s who are a lot more comfortable on the ball and progressive, and I think you're gonna see all the top managers start to bring those in. But yeah,
Instead of just like
instead of just sitters who actually
like
Fabinho, exactly like we see
Gary
Fabinho.
Medel types.
Yeah, like sitters who just compact space, close space, good at anticipating balls. I think you're gonna start to
Interceptions.
see managers see the other side of the game where what can they add on the ball.
all right. Well, I think that's it for today, right?
That's all the results, man.
That's all the results. No FPL today. That will be on Wednesday. I'm not gonna be here Wednesday, guys. Just letting you guys know right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be on a trip for work, so I won't be here on Wednesday. These guys will give you all the updates and all that good stuff. In the meantime, that's it. That's it for tonight. We are the Benchwarmers, the Bench with the Voice. Marco, happy birthday!
Happy birthday,
Happy
Marco.
birthday, Marco.
You enjoyed your cake. The bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.
I think you forgot the thing to cut it.
No, it's here.
That's right.
Of course we do. Come on, bro.
How do you cut cakes like this?
Just cut the square.
With a knife.
Crazy guy.
Well, I'm on a high right now, kicking someone's ass in the draft league.
That's crazy, Jared.
Yo, you get one win. I hope, because the thing is that I'm chill. I'm semi-chill right now. I'm keeping my shit together because we face each other several times because there's only 6 of us.
Yeah, well, I think we all play
And
each
so
other. I think
I
8
can't
times.
wait.
8 times, I
I
think.
can't wait
Once a month we
for the record. My record versus Gad to be 1-7 because he took 7 L's after today. So I'm putting it out there.
Man's on fire. Let's go.
Yo, pick better players, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You'll pick better players. Next time you'll be ready. So that means if he wins next time around, it's because of me because I told him to pick
Wait,
better
Diego,
players.
who'd you play last week?
Hmm?
Who'd you play last week?
I think I played Josue.
You? No, I played Josue.
I-
He played you. It was you two.
Oh, yeah, it was me.
Oh yeah,
It
I
was me.
did.
All right.
Look at
This
that.
is
Look-
this
look-
is
it
the exciting part
started-
of the podcast.
Man started in the corner. Now he's in the middle.
Yeah, because he's doing lines, doing nice little rows.
You cut your cake, Bridge? I'm cutting mine.
Oh,
I think you're using the wrong side of the knife.
I think I'm so too.
He cut his. He cut his cake. All right. It's his birthday. He can cry if he wants to.
Oh, here you go. Let me help you out here. Let me give you the assist with a little plate. Give you the.
It's gonna bounce up.
What kind of cake is it?
It is tres leches.
Mm. Ooh, it's been a while since I had those leches.
Okay, pass it down.
You want fruit? Let me know.
No fruit for me, thank you.
Oh man, I haven't had this.
¿Para qué preguntas entonces? That's what she said.
Oh shit.
That's what he said.
So you're August. What's his August? You're September.
You're September.
September. Jack Oliver's August as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's crazy, yo. That's crazy.
That's true. I knew that one.
We're trying to have a nice.
It's
little
next week, right? It's
moment
next
on the
week.
pod.
And niggas like, what is the Jack Oliver one?
No frutas for me, please.
Take off his peach before he starts bitching.
What are you like? What are you 5 guy?
Yeah,
I know.
I'm not a fruit guy. I'm sorry.
Okay. Here we go, my
Fruit
bad.
or no fruit, I still beat you.
Wow.
Yo, give me all.
Give me all the fruit.
Give me all the fruit. Dump it on it.
Man, this is fired up. I love it.